the Manchester United side of things if we can, because we did see reports earlier this week that all these rumours about Thomas Tuchel coming in at England could be to actually put pressure on Manchester United to appoint him themselves. Well, they can rule Gareth Southgate out as well as Thomas Tuchel at this stage, because Gareth Southgate has said, I won't coach in the next year for sure. I'm certain of that. I need to give myself time to make good decisions. When you come out of a really big role, you need to give your body time. You need to give your mind time. Just taking a look now at the next Manchester United manager odds. Ruud van Nistelrooy up there, Michael Carrick, Kieran McKenna, Gareth Southgate still at 7-1, followed by Graham Potter, Ruben Amorim and Thomas Frank.
Rob will know more of what's going on than any of us, but I have to say, and no disrespect to any of them as managers and coaches, because Graham Potter, and I'm not saying I'm not a big fan, but certainly what he did at Brighton, I think was I think it's in the shadows now because of what happened at Chelsea, but we know the message. Chelsea. Ruben Amorim at Sporting has got a very good reputation, there is no doubt about that, but as a generalisation of a list, for a club that you could argue, along with Real Madrid, are one of the biggest in the world, commercially, historically, it's an appalling list. It really is, in terms of that job. In terms of other, if that was a mid-table Premier League team, and we put that list up, if that was a West Ham job, or something like that, I could go, I can buy that. Some decent candidates for that job there. But this is Manchester United we're talking about. And I think, I've said it all along, I think what, to me, if I had a crystal ball, I could see Van Nistelrooy being in there as an interim coach and then give themselves a bit of time to make a decision. If they decide to part ways with Erik Ten Hag, which I don't know if they are or not, but they got Brentford at the weekend. They're playing appallingly badly. There is no, before the international break, there was no sign whatsoever of him being able to figure it out. In fact, it was getting muddier going into the international break with players that had been signed in the summer, had been left out, and it was just a mess. So we wondered whether they would make a decision during this break. They haven't thus far, and I have no idea, as we sit here now, what kind of decisions that they're going to make.
What is the latest on this situation then, Rob?
That Erik Ten Hag remains under massive pressure. Obviously, there was a United board meeting in the first week of the international break. They discussed the first team performance, Erik Ten Hag's performance. They chose not to make a change. Obviously, United were stressing that it wasn't an emergency board meeting, it was pre-planned, and Erik Ten Hag was one of a number of topics that was discussed. But that doesn't remove the fact that he's still under massive pressure, and they've got 7 games now between the end of this international break and the start of the November break. And really, Erik Ten Hag needs a run of really, really good results, because he's almost living day to day now. You know, if they were to lose that Brentford game, there would be speculation and reports in the immediate aftermath that he was about to get sacked. And then beyond that, you've got Fenerbahce. I'm sure Jose Mourinho would love nothing more than to stick the boot in even more and beat United, one of his former clubs. Really, Erik Ten Hag, to ease some of this pressure, needs a run of results. But as Craig has just said, that there's not really much evidence to suggest that they're capable of doing that. You know, they haven't been consistent for the best part of 18 months. And there hasn't really been any evidence that they're capable of winning, 5 or 6 on the bounce. So Erik Ten Hag will remain under pressure. What I would say is that today has probably been a good day for Ten Hag, because Thomas Tuchel, one of the candidates to take over should he have been sacked, has taken another job. So the pool, the list you've just had up there, the list of candidates who could possibly take over at Man United is getting smaller by the day. Thomas Tuchel's taken a job with England. Southgate's ruled himself out until at least the summer. Ruud van Nistelrooy is top of that list to take over because he's in the building. He's already assistant coach. It would be quite an easy choice to remove Erik Ten Hag and put Van Nistelrooy in. But in terms of his CV and his experience as a manager, he's had one year at PSV Eindhoven in Holland. If United were starting from scratch to appoint a manager, Ruud van Nistelrooy would be nowhere near that conversation. It's possible that Erik Ten Hag doesn't get the results that he needs between these next international breaks, that he's sacked in November, say. Ruud van Nistelrooy comes in until the end of the season, and then Ineos and Man United get to the summer and then can appoint Gareth Southgate. And he's someone that they've made no secret of the fact that they like him. They would have liked to speak to him in the summer when they were doing their end of season review, but it was all complicated by the fact that Southgate was in charge of England. I don't think they were expecting Southgate to say that he wanted to take a year off coaching and bide his time and wait for the right opportunity. So right now you're stuck in what is this mess now? You've got a manager who isn't performing, the team aren't getting results, but where do you turn? There aren't really that many options to replace him if you decide that you do want to sack him, and the list you've just had up there proves that.
When you look at that run of games, under normal circumstances, you would look at that and go, we're going to get some points here. I mean, there's only, looking at what we put out there, there's only really Chelsea under normal circumstances where you go, they should win the rest. I mean, really, Brentford, Fenerbahce, West Ham, Leicester twice. I mean, that should be easy pickings for Manchester United in under normal circumstances. But they're so bad that you're looking at that and thinking, if he doesn't put a run together, he can't survive that.
OK, but then where do they turn when you've seen that list of what's available?
But it would have to be embarrassingly bad, not just bad, because they haven't gotten rid of him so far when they've been bad. So it would have to be just too big of an embarrassment to keep him. And then it's clearly Van Nistelrooy. It's not any of those guys that we had up earlier. Again, with all due respect to them. It can't be. It can't be.
It seems to me, in a sense, as well, that there is a problem with who's out there and who's available, and maybe that was an issue in the summer, not as big as it is now, but it maybe was a little issue for them. But is it a little sense of, well, we didn't sack him after the cup final, so we don't want to be seen to be, making ourselves look bad by sacking him now, and try and give him a bit more time, see if we can turn that around, because most people thought City were going to beat them in the cup final and he was gone. The fact that City had one of the worst days of the season, and the fact that Coventry City in the semi-final, they squimmed through it, somehow saved them, and all of a sudden this was going to turn into some great juggernaut that was going to gather some speed, and Ten Hag was going to get it right. I don't think any of us, certainly sat here and watched United last season, said that he could turn that around. We all said, pretty much to a man, that 3 months into the season we'll be having this conversation about the United manager. And here we are. Now, I know we get paid to do this job, but there's big bucks in this business. Can these people that are running businesses not see it? And so I don't really see how... And Brentford have started the season well. They're sharp. They come out the trap. They're scoring goals. And I hope United have done their homework. They score goals in the first minute or two of almost every game they play. And so I really don't see, if this is an embarrassing result at the weekend again, how they can even let him go into the Fenerbahce game. I just don't see it. I think he's too deeply mired in the mud now that he can't get out. He can't get out. And they're also in it with him, because they've got all this money, and they've put the money in, and they've got money to back the club, but there's nobody out there. They've sat in their hands, and they've twisted and twiddled their thumbs, and every other manager that was probably decent enough for this job has gone out and taken another job. And I'm not buying Gareth Southgate a year down the line. He's a lovely guy, and he did a great job with England in terms of where they got him to. But at club level management is chalk and cheese. It's apples and oranges. He's got no track record. He was manager at Middlesbrough. It was a bit of a struggle. He sort of fell into the England job. That worked out great for him, fair enough. But managing and turning around a club of this size on a day-to-day basis, I just don't see how they think he can turn that around. And I also don't think it would wash with the fans.
Manchester United have ended one role right now, though, and that is the ambassadorial role of Sir Alex Ferguson. It's something that Erik Cantona has not been too happy about, though, and he posted this on social media to talk about what he had to say, saying Sir Alex Ferguson should be able to do anything he wants at the club until the day he dies. Such a lack of respect. It's totally scandalous. Sir Alex Ferguson will be my boss forever, and I throw them all in a big bag of...
Something.
Yes, of something. That's the nice way to put it, Craig. Is this the feeling amongst the fans, Rob?
It's certainly the feeling of some of them. Alex Ferguson is the greatest manager that United have ever had, and some fans viewing this as quite disrespectful, really. United are trying to badge it as, you know, a mutual parting of ways, that Ferguson's turning 83 in December and that he's cutting back on his work commitments. But there is no escaping the fact that this has been driven by United, by Ineos, as part of their cost-cutting measures. That said, you know, there are some United fans who have seen, you know, there are 250 people at Man United who have lost their job through redundancy in the last sort of 3 and 6 months. And some United fans are saying, well, if United are cutting jobs throughout the club, then why should they be paying Sir Alex Ferguson £2 million a year for what is a ceremonial role? So it has split the fan base a little bit. I think, you know, there are some United fans who will see it as Ineos sort of stripping away a little bit of the soul of the club. You know, Sir Alex Ferguson is imprinted in the very fabric of Man United. It's, you know, he really created this modern Man United, and Ineos have decided that they no longer need his services. Again, United are stressing that this has all been you know, done with face-to-face discussions, that Sir Alex Ferguson is happy with his decision, that it's been mutual, and that Sir Alex Ferguson will be welcome at Old Trafford whenever he wants. But you know, there will be United fans who look at this and think that is one step too far, that it's fair enough Ineos wanting to cut costs, to save money, but you just don't go anywhere near Fergie. Fergie gets to do whatever he wants because of how successful he was as a club manager. So, you know, certainly a split among the fan base, really, when that news came out today.